it. And then we can top and tail it at this end, and then it will be in the stream there for you. So that started now. So when you're ready, take your
Can
time.
you see my slides?
Not at the moment, just can
Not
see
yet.
you. Not yet.
Desk window. There we go. Shit. Fabulous. You can see me now, yes?
See you now, yeah. It's awful when you... Oh, hang on, this looks promising.
Yeah, can you see that?
Yeah, got it, yeah. And that little bar at the bottom there, can you see where it says share? If you just do hide there, that should... There you go. I didn't want to interrupt you earlier on, Katrina, but that was the same there. So there you go. Right, that should be all fine now. So when you're ready, over to you.
Right, so for my leadership experience task, I've focused in on young carers because, like Katrina, I wear the wellbeing hat in our school, and are leading on the school development plan for the wellbeing for all. So we identified that as something. So I thought, brilliant, I'll bring that into our leadership program experience presentation. So the objectives of this task is where I started, and it was to lead on a school initiative, hence the young carers, embed a positive change, and obviously that would bring a change for those hidden children within our school setting, definitely. And obviously to develop the knowledge and the skill of the staff, to develop my leadership capabilities, and then to reflect on what I've learned. So my starting point was, what is leadership? Because I wanted to make sure that that was the forefront of what I was doing. And when I was managing and leading the initiative throughout our school, I wanted to make sure that I kept coming back to what is an effective leader. So the definition I came up with, which I liked most, was to inspire positive change through great behaviours from everyone within the organisation. So my focus area, like I said, was young carers. It came from the fact that Welsh Government have got the whole school approach to wellbeing toolkit out now, and obviously is a massive boost with wellbeing through the new curriculum. Then Caerphilly's focus with Liz Davis, she was really she was employed to push the identification and raising awareness of young carers. And it was near enough at zero when I first took over in Libanus within this role. So the school focus then was obviously to identify first and foremost, and that ended up on our school development plan. So the starting point for me was through qualitative research of SLT, the management team, everybody involved, basically, teachers, TAs, governors. I am fortunate that I am on the governing body as the teacher rep. So I was able to speak to them directly on a number of occasions throughout the year to gain their understanding and to educate them on it as well. It was noted through that qualitative research that there wasn't a very clear definition known by everybody, all the stakeholders, about what a young carer is. There was quite a lot of ambiguity as to whether a young carer looks after an adult or whether it could be a sibling or somebody outside of the family home as well. So that needed to be rectified first and foremost. Then we needed to identify the young carers within Libanus and start to hold a register. And then we needed to gather resources for staff to be able to identify the young carers within our school through informing parents and gaining that information from them, because like I said, they are quite hidden sometimes within school. So through discussions then with cluster wellbeing leads and Liz Davis for Caerphilly, there was definitely a need for a boost with this young carers throughout the whole of Libanus and our cluster. So this is just a little page just to show you the people that I sort of went to for support and the things that I looked at. So with regards to my leadership, I read the 1 Minute Manager, which I thought was quite informative because I'm quite, I like to be very fair and the same with everybody. However, through reading that book, it stresses, isn't it, different strokes for different folks, which eased my mind a little bit about how I approach different things with different people. I spoke to Caerphilly, Ciara's support team, Jill. She was fantastic, and that was my main starting point with her, really, because I hit a bit of a wall with identifying the young carers, because I think of the stigma attached to it. So I went to somebody who's been involved in it for years and years, and she suggested that I go through the positives of being identified, all the free things that you can get, all the free support, the fact that it doesn't affect anybody financially for being identified as a young carer. And it was through her support then that I was able to get the ball rolling, really. And I also spoke to Family First coordinator, Laura Bryan, who was amazing, and she gave me lots of support as well, and the Care Collective, to see and to check that I was doing the right thing. I went through them because they offer basics and beyond basic awards, so you can like achieve plaques, a little bit like Healthy Schools. So I went through them because then that is everything that we do in Libanus is assessed by young carers themselves. They've got they meet every term and decide whether we are meeting the needs of the young carers. So an award awarded by young carers themselves is excellent. And then I looked at the 5 dysfunctions of a team. So rather than looking at what would be good, I thought, well, what could the pitfalls be in my leadership? And I really tried not to fall into those pitfalls. So the plan began and I started my journey. So basically it started from obviously being on the SLT, but also from this course. It just made me focus a bit more and think about where I was going to go. So it was gathering the knowledge first, which I've just discussed, identify the training needs of the stakeholders, and then from that, I needed to enhance the knowledge and the confidence through training for all staff, including TAs and the people in reception and things like that as well. And then develop people knowledge to normalise discussions around young carers. So making it not become a stigma attached to it, making it a positive thing that you're a young carer and praising people for being young carers. And that sort of helped us identify even more through pupil discussions and observations, on playground, in classes, during circle time, that sort of thing. Then I was looking at enhancing the awareness throughout the whole cluster, not just the school. So I set up a cluster meeting where people from Family First and young carers came and supported and gave us ideas and signposted us to the right places. Then I submitted the evidence to Young Carers Basic Award. We did reach that, which is brilliant, but it was just the start and the journey's continuing, and we're continually reflecting on what we've done and how we can continue to improve. So then I looked at my leadership and looked at the 5 pitfalls that I could have fallen into. So I thought about the attention to the results, was making sure that I made it very visible and aware to all stakeholders what our task was and how we were going to achieve it. Using the SDP, performance management, just generally chatting during staff meetings and, corridor chats, everything, and just checking that when things were meant to be done, that they were done on time, updated if anybody needed support. The commitment part of it, I overcame any challenges of parents coming forward. So through that discussion with Jill, I ensured that I overcome that challenge and sent out another letter, which was much more positively responded to. And it was from that as well then that I had, I spent half a day out of class, having phone calls and conversations with the parents themselves, discussing what we could do to support them and chatting about what it means to be a young carer. And then I just the acceptance of conflict and challenges. you know, we had great discussions in staff meetings and when we had our training, and just discussing what we think as a young carer and saying, do you know what, I might be unsure of this one, and owning up to it, and that builds into the trust. And I put trust really big, because I think that is the main thing when you're leading, is that they need to trust that you've not only got the knowledge and you've got the ideas and the plans, but they trust you that if you haven't got the answers, then you can say, do you know what, I don't know the answer, but I will get back to you. So that's why trust is bigger. So then the results of it. So at present, all staff are aware of the role and our aims as a whole school. We've all got a shared vision. All staff participated in the training. All governors were made aware of the training as well, and it's been discussed. All phases, phase 1, so that's our foundation phase, we call them phase 1, 2, 3 and 4. All children have been made aware through an assembly that was delivered directly by our young carers group that had been formed last year. And all stakeholders are now aware of the definition. There's still some ambiguity for some, but they come to me, we have discussions and we identify them. If it's a bit of a grey area, then we do refer out to obviously Carers Trust or Jill in Caerphilly. 5 of our pupils have now been given young carer identification cards, which is a Caerphilly agenda that they set out. So when they left us in year 6, they've gone to comp now with a young carer card that they can just show a member of staff if they're late or if their homework's late. They don't have to go over the same thing over and over. They can just show the card, which is better for their well-being. Young carers have now got a place in our CUTCH provision in school. So I've got 2 groups of young carers that now go and have time where they can talk about things, how they are at home, any concerns, any problems. And it also gives them a time to do their homework or any other tasks that they want to do that their parents might not have time or be able to accommodate at home. So we're giving them that extra support in school. And I've also developed a really strong network of support around me in order to just, send somebody an email or have a meeting just to continue to develop this identification. Because at the moment I've got 16 on the register, but I'm sure there's still loads more young carers out there that we need to reach. So what did I learn from it? I felt like I had a clear goal and vision in what I wanted to achieve. And I felt that all the stakeholders within our school all are on board that journey as well. As a result, our young carers have now been identified. It was 17, but 2 have left and one's joined. So that's why it's 16 now this year. And our efforts have been rewarded with the Basic Care Collective status, which is fabulous. In future, I think I will share the bigger picture with staff a little bit earlier. I would change that. But I think I didn't do that. So I think a nice visual would be quite nice of sort of stepping stones, mile points that we need to be getting to, with that sort of, reflection along the way as well. And I'll also delegate some more of my tasks to staff who demonstrate an interest in, achieving my goals, our school aims. But I think all in all, it went really well. And it's still an ongoing process. I had another meeting with young carers today and our EWO officer. So, it never ends. We can always do better. Are there any questions?